Hello and welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 66, part 1 for May 12th, 2013. My name's Tony and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters Mark and Jason.
Jason just got the meat from out of his teeth. Woohoo!
True story. Everybody's phone's on silent this week.
No, mine isn't.
No, mine isn't.
And I hope to God it goes off again.
I hope.
Hysterical. And we have a returning special guest from a few weeks back. This is what, your third appearance on the show now?
That is correct.
It's our good friend Brian. How goes it?
Yo.
Pointed that microphone.
He pointed. I know. Yeah, it comes across really well on radio. But so, how has everyone's week been going?
Great. I want to say that before I came in here, I stopped off at work, and two of my coworkers told me that Target is currently selling Resident Evil Revelations, the game that doesn't come out till the 21st, for $12.55.
Yeah.
So I picked up 2 copies of it because it's a little bit under what it's going to retail for, just by a little bit.
So you could return them as new and make a little hefty coinage.
Probably make about $80 for Target's mistake.
You gonna play it? Are they still doing that?
No.
No, he bought the last 2, or else I was going to say Scoop.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
He's so selfish. It's like Scoop.
Yeah, I know. They like
Unbelievable.
mistakenly put out like 5 or 6 copies this morning, and they put them on the clearance shelf. It was on the clearance shelf. A game that doesn't come out for 2 weeks. Already clearance. They have no confidence in it. So that was a good end of my day so far.
I've been super busy building our retro 80s website.
Yeah.
Which everybody seems to enjoy so far.
Yeah, it's coming together nicely.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a typo on there. Tony hasn't told me where it's at.
I
though.
found a typo, and now I can't find it again.
I think the point was that it was an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll locate that later. Still some bugs to work out.
Oh yeah, it's getting there though.
English.
It's getting there though.
Whatever.
I worked an obscene amount and watched an obscene amount of hockey this week with the first round of the playoffs. Boom! Blackhawks win. That's what I like.
Hawks win.
You do anything interesting this week?
Interesting this week. I got in a little bit of a fight with a Russian man in Russia because I sold an old iPod on eBay, and some guy in Russia bought it and just paid a buttload of money for my shipping and everything, but he sent everything in Russian.
Like
currency?
currency-wise?
No. It came through PayPal, but he sent his address in Russian. First, it wouldn't clear through PayPal. It took 24 hours to clear through PayPal, which, fine. Keep that transfer secure. I get that. But the post office won't take a package with a Russian address. It has to be in English, and all the information has to be in English. So I emailed the guy. First, as soon as it clears, like immediately after it clears, he's like, "Where's my iPod?" I'm like, "Dude, you gotta give it time." So then I emailed him again. I was like, "Look, I went to the post office. They won't take your paperwork as it is. For customs, it's got to all be in English. Can you give me your address in English?" And then like 6 hours later, because there's a time difference, he sends me back his info. And then 6 hours after that, this whole time I've been sleeping, he sends me, "I want a refund. Where's my iPod?" What? This is all in Russian. I'm just using like the eBay translation software. I'm like, whatever, dude. Gave him a refund. I'm like, eBay, please close this out. I'll just ship to the U.S. only, man. This is too much.
Yeah.
I can ship internationally. I used to work for an estate buyer. I've shipped hundreds of packages around the world, but
Don't even deal with this guy.
was too much.
Goddamn angry Russians.
In Soviet Russia, we get package immediately. I
can assure you they do not. My best friend is the creative guy, Pavlovsky Creative.
Go ahead, throw him out there.
Yeah, my buddy.
We're using his logo on his song
today. He
today.
did the logo in the song. He's from Russia. He moved here when he was like 9 or 10. And he's got some stories about Russia, man. You do not. He's just like, we would wait in line, and we get to the end of the line, and we'd realize there was nothing at the beginning of the line. Someone had stopped to watch TV at a store window, and everyone just lined up behind them because they thought a line was forming. There was nothing there.
That's hilarious. Jesus.
We got to watch TV for a minute.
Well, yeah.
Well, I suppose with that being said, we can kick off the show with our weekly roundtable and catch everybody up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
Well, this is a new high for the last 3 weeks. I played almost 3 hours of games. I played Halo 4, and I realized I think I'm just exhausted with first-person shooters. I traded in, and I got Red Dead. It was like an equal trade, so I did that.
Where is my copy of Brutal Legend?
That guy.
Dude, you can do the Humble Bundle, or is it over already?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it just started. I'm not sure.
The Humble Double Fine Bundle, which includes
the
Mac version.
Was that on computer?
Yeah.
I don't want to play games on my computer.
I actually, that was the only reason I turned my console on this whole last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think, was that game. Then I did World of Tanks, and
I saw a commercial for that on TV.
Really? Good for them.
On BBC America.
Makes sense. I mean, it is huge in Europe. Like I said, they had 500,000 people in one server at one point. So I mean, it is a big game. And then I broke down and bought Don't Starve. I could put about 20 minutes into that. It's interesting. It's like a survival game. Because I know, Tony, you were interested in it too, right?
That was one of the games that I was actually considering pre-ordering from Steam way back when, but I never decided to bite the bullet because from just paying attention to Steam trends over the course of the last couple of years, everything's going to go on sale within a month or two, and I could probably pick the game up for $2, so why pre-order it for $15?
Yeah,
that was always my mentality. So I'm just going to wait because it's not like a must-play right now game. It's just something I eventually want to get to, so I could...
See, I had the idea of... I was at the store one day, and I forget what I did, but I think I traded something in, so it was like, hey, for an extra $1, you can get a $20 Steam card because there's nothing else I wanted. So I'm starting to fund up my wallet, so I was I'm not really paying anything, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and I picked it up. It's cool. When you die, you do start over. I mean, it is one of those games where you play till you die, then you lose everything, and you start over again. There's an XP build. You gain XP every time you die, and then it unlocks new characters, basically. So, and basically just survive as long as you can. And there is an end to the world. It's just you have to get there. I had the unfortunate web slinging. Tony's web slinging.
Oh, dude, I'm mimicking...
Jason's got Spider-Man Band-Aids
What's his
on.
name? Toby Maguire? When he couldn't figure out how to go...
Go web.
Go web!
Shazam! Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's cool.
There's a lot going on in the background again.
Yeah. But anywho...
Reference to a 10-year-old movie? No?
I went through a wormhole, and I went to the zone I don't think I should have been in, and I died almost immediately. I was just running.
Almost.
Almost
immediately.
Almost immediately. But yeah, that's basically what I did. This upcoming week, I graduated like college. I didn't really say that.
Congratulations, Mark!
Yeah, they
Tony's the
canceled.
only one that doesn't clap for you. What a prick.
I was like, yay, Mark!
Yeah, he took his shirt off. But no, next week of classes all got canceled because I don't get my college. Anyway, and then I walk doing the whole, look at my little tassel.
Come out to the Macho Man theme music.
I hope so.
Pomp and circumstances.
The guy on stage, they probably just have the thing on loop.
Yeah. But you got to do the Macho Man pose. Oh, yeah. Maybe bring some Slim Jims with you or something.
Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
Not as good as your Russian.
Not as good as my Russian impersonation? That was pretty dead on, I know.
All I've played this week was more Injustice on my iPad because I've been busy doing other stuff, and I'm kind of
kicking
sick.
drunks off of properties.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that's literally it. Working on my levels on Injustice iOS to unlock more stuff in the big one.
Oh, it's so good, sir.
I finished Bioshock Infinite last night.
Bigger cheer than Mark's graduation! Yay!
Mark said.
And I've also been playing a bit of Star Command on iOS, which is a pretty interesting little space RPG sim type thing.
Without spoiling it, because I have yet to finish it, and if you do spoil it, I will kick you in the ankle, and that shit hurts.
Oh, I will too. I will take out the other ankle.
What did you think? What did you think of Bioshock?
Pick your words wisely if you want to walk out.
I was okay with the ending. I was fine with it. I thought it was good. I know some people were disappointed.
Was it mind blowing like most people thought?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I can see why someone would find it mind blowing. I kind of saw it coming because I have done more than play video games. Like as video game plots go, it's very big, it's very epic, and it is very surprising. But it's not like it's the first time that's been done.
All right.
But it is very good. It is good. It's a good ending. It's not like the Mass Effect 3 ending. We're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
It all builds
Made
and makes
sense?
sense. Yes.
This is my summer plan: is to go back and get the director's cut.
Ah.
Myself to do that.
I gotta finish that fucking game already. I've been waiting for that game for so long, and I haven't finished it yet. It's pathetic.
Pathetic.
That about it?
That's pretty
Rock
much it for
on.
me.
Like I said, I was really busy with work and hockey, so I only put a little time into Thomas Was Alone and Guacamelee. Pretty stuck in Guacamelee currently. Pretty fucking stuck. And I also, on the PlayStation Plus side of things, I actually got Sleeping Dogs for free.
I enjoyed it.
And
for a
all the
little bit.
DLC. I only played it for like 10 minutes because it took forever to download because
Yeah,
it was like a fucking 10 gigabyte download.
How'd you like it though?
the 10 minutes, it seems cool. It's
Yeah.
a great free game.
Yeah.
What kind of game? I saw it was free. What kind
It's
of game
open.
is it?
It's like a Grand Theft Auto.
It's a Grand Theft Auto mixed with like Batman with a combat system.
You're kind
And,
of like,
and, like detective stuff in it as well.
Yeah.
you're basically controlling.
Looks like Faster Than Light.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that.
Yeah, I kickstarted Star
alright.
Command. So
Sorry, I hadn't heard of it, so I was decided to look
You
it up.
can can take a look at mine when if you want to see it. It's interesting. It's cool. It's kind of like a cross between. Have you ever heard Game Dev Story, which is this weird game that came out for iOS and Android?
I literally have beaten the entire game in last week.
Yeah, because the game's like
I don't actually usually do.
Sorry.
I actually don't do
That was
my
my last
mobile
game,
games. I did rather well in the game.
Oh yeah,
I did
okay.
rather well in the game.
yeah.
I'm actually playing one of their spin-offs right now, which is the soccer.
Oh, the
thing.
soccer manager thing.
Yeah, I heard that one was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
So
so it kind of has
Kairosoft
that.
does cool stuff for
Kairosoft is cool,
mobile.
but the way they get the flow in Kairosoft games, you can't stop.
Yeah, I know.
Like you don't realize it when
I know.
you play for like 6 hours. You're like, wait, what? It's tomorrow.
I've killed my entire battery playing
Yeah.
that game. Literally in the last 2 weeks, I've played this game more than any game I've actually played, but it's mobile, so generally I don't say my mobile game.
Rock on. That's about all I played. So
Yeah. Go play Game Dev Story. Freaking awesome.
But make sure you have time to play Game Dev Story because
And a charger.
yeah, because you will completely lose track of time.
Yep. It's so good.
so good. It
It's
hurts.
actually probably one of my favorite mobile games I've ever played. It's actually really good.
Is it free?
Yeah. Oh, there's a free version of it, and then I think they stop you after I don't know an hour of gameplay probably, and then I think it's only like $3 for the actual paid one. I actually just bought it after that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this, and I
Yeah.
did.
And then you don't stop playing for like 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Dirty, sexy, news.
News. We're gonna start off with Mark's Bash of the Week, and as easy it is to do Nintendo, I'm not doing Nintendo this week.
Yeah, take that.
I am actually doing Ubisoft. Ubisoft this week went about firing its own creator of the Assassin's Creed series over, this is what the official statement said, a difference between Ubisoft and the studio's vision.
Strange that Ubisoft has a different vision than the visionary who created the series.
That's basically my next sentence. It was the man who put Ubisoft into a dominant position of the games industry.
Probably the third biggest developer.
Yeah, probably. And
behind
you're
EA
saying
and Activision.
his vision doesn't match your company's vision. That's bullshit.
No, nobody said what that vision is, right? Can I take a guess?
Sure.
He wants to end the story.
Yeah.
I think he
Because
wants.
most stories that are good
Again,
do have an ending.
To kind of, without giving away too much, I can confirm that's exactly what it was.
I think it's more
Why is that?
Because I know somebody at Ubisoft.
places.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a job? I'm a dick over here.
You should totally go work for Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you give me all the download if Uncharted 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
Just wait, with Cliffy B, I'll hire you. Your buddies.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. You give me stuff on Twitter, whatever.
I figured it would be because maybe he wants to get Assassin's Creed back on track. The series has been on a 5-year downward spiral as of late. It's selling more and more copies, which is sending Ubisoft the wrong signal.
Yeah.
And the games are getting progressively worse. So I don't know.
It's a trailer that's selling most
The
people.
Pyro one looks really cool too again, and I'll probably buy it, and I'll probably be like, "Fuck, they sucked me in again." The shit's not good, but I've always
there's
wanted a
something
really
about it. I just
badass.
got so tired of it.
I always wanted a really badass pirate game. It's just
Yeah.
they're non-existent. I don't know, man.
God, Sid Meier's, hello.
Yeah, that game's actually good.
It's good, but is it badass?
No,
good?
it's good. It's good.
If you play the game impersonating Jack Sparrow the entire time, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, I had that on
Lego
CD.
Pirates is badass.
I don't know if anything Lego is really badass.
you
It can be cool and fun. but is it
Clearly, you haven't
badass?
played Lego Batman 2. That's badass.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
So from your source, you say that it was that he wanted to end the series, and Ubisoft's like, no, get the hell out of
They
here.
wanted to close the chapter on Assassin's Creed and move on to something else.
They should.
That's what they wanted.
It's not like a comic book hero from like the 50s that you can't kill that off at this point.
No.
It's a series that's been going for 5 years, and
They're selling
it's
six,
money
seven
grabbing.
million
Yeah,
copies
it's
a
money
year.
grabbing it.
They could just end this story and branch off into a related story.
Yeah, what's his name? The
Well,
main
Desmond.
guy.
Desmond.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about something like Assassin's Creed or any story is that you can always do a side story or a spin-off like they do on TV. Like they're doing, supposedly there's that spin-off of The Office. They're going to do The Farm.
The Farm, yeah!
Did you hear they're gonna do a UK version of Everybody Loves Raymond?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that just came out this week
Yeah.
too.
But yeah, so you could always do a spin-off. One of my favorite quotes, and I'm paraphrasing it and I'm ruining it, but is the thing about all stories is that if they go on long enough, they end in death. Everything ends. Every good story, which is my biggest problem with a lot of comics, is that they don't end. Every story needs an ending. Now you can have multiple stories in the same vein, which is why I like trade paperbacks more than buying individual issue type stuff. But yeah, sorry, I'm rambling.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, a good story has to have an ending, or else it never really goes anywhere. It just has to constantly one up itself, and at some point, it just gets ridiculous.
And I think Revelations was the start of that. Like I said, I really liked Brotherhood, which is 3-4 years ago at this point. And then literally the story. For me, I think it was I played it because of the gameplay. The gameplay was forgivable at times, and then the story kept me going. And then Revelations, it was follow this person, and then 3 was follow the Indian lady, and then we'll throw an interesting mission in there every hour or two. And then both those, I gave up in the first 5 or 6 hours because there was one maybe 2 good missions out of that first part of the story, and it's not worth my time.
Mm-hmm. They hit their plateau with Assassin's Creed 2. It was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Assassin's Creed 2.
I hated all of them, so.
Assassin's Creed 2 is really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I like Brotherhood.
That's good for you. Fuck that shit.
It's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, even though you're wrong.
See, that's the advantage that I have, is I have a microphone in front of me, so I can force my opinion on everyone else.
Yeah!
That's really true. But anyway,
that's why we do this. Hello.
Right. That is my bash of the week. Ubisoft. Go make another cool series. It's not that hard. I mean, I'm sure you have 20 different writers who have a good idea that people will like. I mean, you do what you did with Assassin's Creed 1. Throw something out there, and you'll hopefully make a successful game. All right, we're going to move on to an Xbox contest that's actually going on. Started on May 6th and goes till May 20th. It's encouraging fans to tweet at EA, at Xbox, at PlayXBLA.
What?
And at Turn 10, which is why I know Tony and me would be happy about this. Basically, the contest ends a day before the announcement for the next Xbox. So, literally, you're probably going to be getting a Forza 5 at the Microsoft press conference, and probably a new EA title from what I was hearing rumors of.
I hope that it breaks Tony's heart and it's like Forza Horizon 2 as opposed to Forza 5.
I might cry if that happens.
That would be amazing.
Just on his knees.
No!
Well,
End of Shawshank Redemption.
The good thing is, even though Turn 10 had a hand in Horizon and basically handed over the engine and whatnot, they didn't make that game. So it was pretty clear they were working on the next Forza iteration, which would be Forza 5. Also, it's like I've been saying since we started this, if you look back, most recent consoles will always launch with a racing game of some sort because racing games are a great way to showcase new hardware. Mm-hmm. They're very pretty games, all of them, so they're able to show a lot of the different lighting capabilities and whatnot. They're pretty easy to make. They don't take a lot of time or effort. Forza does, but I'm just saying race car games in general. And they're fun and they sell units, so...
What if it's Connect 2 only?
It works so good on the Connect 1.
It'll further push me to the PS4.
He's like, I'll still play it. I'll cry the whole time that I'm playing it. But I'll still play it.
And then do you have any speculation on new EA title?
Oh, yes. I think that this is going to be... what's the company that... Respawn Entertainment?
Yeah, Respawn.
That West and Zampella, the guys who got canned from Infinity
Ward.
Ward.
West retired. West left, I think.
Yeah,
just
recently.
No, I don't think he retired. I think he had family things, and he stepped away from the project.
Yeah.
But those two have been working on something since they got fired from EA and fired from Activision, excuse me, and walked away with just gobs of money.
The ferret's got an itch. That's her.
Okay, so like that.
So once they walked away with all that money, they decided to start Respawn Entertainment, and I'm hearing that this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. So Microsoft probably
last week actually.
They probably threw some more money at those guys, and those guys
put it in their underwear.
They know how to make a first-person shooter. They made Medal of Honor when it was cool. Then EA let them go, and they started Call of Duty, and they made some of the better Call of Duties. Then they left Call of Duty, and now I'm very curious to see what they have up their sleeve for this next game. But this could be a system seller.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't care.
But yeah, both those are really good, picks for what it will be. Yeah. Forza 5 is kind of obvious, but Respawn's good.
I'll borrow Forza from you, but I don't care about first-person shooters anymore. Really,
this could be a good one.
More ones. I'm sure it will be, but it's not going to be something that I'm going to spend money on. I'm gonna buy Connectimals too.
Well, that tiger's just so
it's
cute.
so
adorable.
We're going to go on from there to more driving games. We got, was it Polyphony. Right, Polyphony. Polyphony Digital is holding a secret press conference on May 15th to celebrate their 15th anniversary of Gran Turismo 1.
Yeah.
And for the sake of fucking up names, since I haven't had to do that in so long, Kazuyori Yamauchi will be there.
Christy Yamaguchi.
Christy Yamaguchi will be there live.
Skating.
He is the gentleman who basically runs Polyphony Digital. He's the great mind behind the Gran Turismo franchise. On May 15th, May
15th, yeah.
They're holding...
Tony wrote this story last second because I didn't hear about it. So.
I was just double checking it was in June. But yeah, it's May 15th. They're holding a press conference to celebrate their 15th anniversary. They also...
And Christy Yamaguchi.
They also released a teaser trailer with basically, you know the Gran Turismo thing where they have a car that has that blue sheet on top of it, and then they kind of pull that off to reveal it
randomly.
What they did is they have this ghost car under the blue sheet, and then it just says, join us for the Gran Turismo event. And it's pretty obvious to me that this is either Gran Turismo 6 or a Vita-only game, or both.
Do you think it could be a Vita-only one? Because, like you said, with a new system launches with a driving game, do you think...
Well, they have Drive Club.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that they won't be a launch title? Maybe they might announce both, but do you think it'll be a launch, after launch?
Rumors and speculation is Gran Turismo 6 is actually going to be a PS3 game because of the install base.
I did hear that as well.
Gran Turismo 5, little known fact, is actually the greatest selling PS3 exclusive ever. It's also the highest selling PlayStation franchise ever, which is why Sony...
Wait, you're saying just 5 was?
Gran Turismo 5 is the greatest selling PlayStation
over
3
Uncharted?
Like triple the numbers.
Really? That's kind of crazy.
It sold like 10 point something million.
Because I would imagine
that's
that
kind of sad too.
It sells over time. That's what I'm guessing would be, right?
Gran Turismo gets legs, dude. Yeah. It's huge in Europe and Japan. Because it's huge.
Because we always think of like the big sellers are the ones that they have like the big breaks. But then like you get a game like a Mario or Gran Turismo or even Halo where they sell for months after release. Those numbers keep building to the point where it actually gets to be pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I don't think they're going to ignore the 75 million PS3s in the wild, especially this being one of their marquee franchises. I'm not taking away from the fact that it might be a fall lineup release where it may be PS3, PS4 compatible. I'm assuming they're going to do, regardless, they're going to do some kind of Vita compatibility. If they don't, I think that's a major miss on Polyphony's end. We talked about this before where I think it'd be a great idea to maybe have some free download for the Vita where when you're on the go, you can, change tires, tune your car, paint it, do all that little side things, those little quirky things as a little companion piece to try to push some Vitas because Gran Turismo moves units. It also very well could just be a Vita-only game. I know the Gran Turismo on the PSP sold extremely well, and this could actually start selling some PSPs. Well, and maybe they hold off Gran Turismo 6 till... One year into the PS4's life cycle.
The Vita has the accelerometer, right? So you could do like a driving game on Vita and just be tilting, use the back pad for analog shifting or something like that. So they could do all sorts of cool stuff with the Vita.
There was a rumor that was an unannounced huge title was coming to the Vita this year. I think that came out this week actually, and it definitely could be Gran Turismo.
No.
Because I did remember reading that on, I think, IGN, saying that there was an unannounced title that would make you want it.
To me, the three things that are missing from Vita that'll really start pushing some hardware is a God of War, a Gran Turismo, and a good first-person shooter.
What, Call of Duty's 45-minute campaign? Is it enough for you people?
God, you guys are so spoiled. No, but I think if they come out with those three things, especially rapid fire, within like 6 months of each other, it'll give people a reason to finally buy a Vita. I think there's plenty of reasons out there, but there's not that one.
I'm definitely seeing a lot more interest in it lately.
There's not that one marquee title that's really going to draw in.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them casuals, but the
The people on
completely
the edge.
hardcore.
Yeah.
The
The
people
people
kind
on
of
the
in the
edge
middle.
of if they want a handheld.
Something to push them over the
Yeah.
edge, yeah.
I'll push you over the edge.
Yeah, push your face.
I'll push you down a stair.
Yeah. Just one.
I'm hardcore.
Just
I'm
one stair.
hardcore.
Not a set of stairs, just one.
Just one.
So I'm probably the only one in this group, but I will be watching that press conference with great anticipation.
I will
With
be
his
doing
pants
it.
off.
I'll do it. I'll
The Gran Turismo
I was about
press
to say.
conference?
I was about to say I'm going to do it naked, and then he took it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on. More news.
News!
Nintendo actually did announce this week that it will be having 2 smaller events at E3, and it will actually appear at its normal Tuesday morning time slot. I don't know if that means that they're not going to be on main stage, or if they're going to be shorter ones to save like the 2 hours or something that they usually get or something. But they did announce they will have something interesting to show off at least. And another thing Nintendo did this week is they actually expressed interest in making mobile game ports to the Wii U. Hopefully getting them some much-needed games.
Yeah, check
I
out
know what
this.
you're talking about. I think the Wii U has lots of games. There's the re-release of Mass Effect. There's the re-release of
Batman.
There's the re-release of Call of Duty was
There's the re-release of Madden.
re-release of
Release
Madden. That's right.
What else re-released do you have?
There's the re-release of Mario U.
Amazing Spider-Man. We have the re-release
Yeah, the
of that was a
re-release
year
of that.
Yeah, no,
afterwards.
they
There was the re-release of Darksiders 2.
yeah,
They
they
re-
got any games.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a terrible. Like,
I mean, it's
fine, but
reaching, I think.
it's like, hey, remember that one time you bought that sweet $350 Wii U with that awesome tablet controller to play
your $3 mobile
cell
game
phone
now.
games?
All I've done with it is play Virtual Console games, and they're driving me nuts because there's so many games in the Wii Virtual Console that aren't on the Wii U yet. I think this month is Super Metroid, which will be awesome if that's this month. But
You just,
yeah,
It's a
slowly
mess.
getting there.
It's a mess.
it absolutely is.
News! Moving on to my sexy story of the week. I'm doing a little compare and contrast this week. As you notice, I was mostly into the bigger companies this week. EA had a lot of interesting things going on, along with Activision. So I'll go into this one right off the bat. This week, EA had its vice president sell off his entire stock in his company for a cool $700,000. Adding on to this story, EA did announce 11 new games, including Sims 4, Battlefield 4, all of its sports franchises, including NBA, Need for Speed, Plants vs. Zombies 2, and on top of this, they also announced that Battlefield 3 Premium Service has made them an extra $120 million in added revenue with its 3.5 million subscribers.
Sims 4
Yes,
will not
be online.
be on.
Yes, I know. I did hear that.
Oh
as well.
my God, you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Right?
Well, and none of those will be on Wii U, right? Because hasn't EA backed away from the Wii U? Or is it
15,
just-
15
They-
EA games are skipping the Wii U.
Yep,
That
they
was gonna
said
be part of
the
my Fireside
Frostbite
chat.
Frostbite 2, I think they said it was having trouble on
Also
the Wii.
part of the Fireside chat.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's stick
You've
away
heard,
from
you've heard
those.
the rumor about why EA is skipping on the Wii U, right? Have you heard? You want to wait for your Fireside
Oh,
chat?
yes, I've
We'll
heard.
get into that.
Yeah,
also.
yeah. I heard about that as well.
Okay, let's go. You want to start piece by piece? So the
Yeah,
VP
yeah.
sold off all of his shares in the company. This is either he's got clearly some insider info, or which is highly illegal,
Yeah.
or he has just had enough and decided they're high enough for him, and he's like, you know what? Let me cash this shit out.
Yeah.
It's one or the other, because if EA's doing something big and this guy knows about it and he's selling his stuff right before some
Yeah.
major announcement in the next week or two, that's really illegal.
Yeah.
Or he needs to get his kid into Harvard and
Yeah, I just needed the money.
He's got to buy a new gymnasium to get somebody in
Had to
somewhere.
get
There's
a new
always that.
pool.
So, what was the other
The next one was EA has 11 new games coming this year, with Sims 4 was announced this week, Battlefield 4. All of its sports franchises are coming back, including NBA Live. Not going to call it Elite.
exception of Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods is doing the skip because they want to work on the next-gen engine because it has fallen behind in their terms, I guess. New Need for Speed game, a new Plants vs. Zombies 2, and also I know the guys who do Bejeweled are coming out with another Bejeweled.
Cool. So Battlefield 4 and Plants vs Zombies 2. Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I still want to play.
isn't it like
Plants
Plants vs.
too.
Zombies Forever or something like that? Isn't that what it's called? It's
No,
not-
finally.
Yeah,
They're making fun of how long it
Yeah,
took them
yeah,
to-
yeah.
to put the second one out.
Yeah. Which is awesome. And then I had also mentioned on that Battlefield 3 just announced they had 3.5 million subscribers, which gives them $120 in added revenue.
120 million?
Yeah.
$120.
$120.
That if little old Battlefield 3.
What is that?
It's Plants vs.
Plants
Zombies.
Yeah, it
vs.
is.
Zombies song.
Keep talking. Go ahead. I did it last time we were talking about it.
If
so I had to.
if little old Battlefield 3 could rake in $120 million extra dollars off their premium service, one wonders what Activision's Call of Duty Elite pulls in, because
Yeah,
that
yeah, way
actually
more.
has a fan base.
Well, Battlefield
That's
3
gotta
has
be
been picking up. Though.
Gobs of money, though.
Yeah, it has to be. On top of this, EA even acquired the exclusive license to make select Star Wars video games.
Yeah, the ones that they don't have the rights to is the Lego games.
The Lego
that,
games,
That
'cause it's
company,
owned by-
that company could still make the Lego
Yeah.
versions. And one other one, and it's escaping me at the moment
Yeah.
because of something similar to Lego one, but you don't have to worry about it. It's because somebody else has been handling it for years, and they're just going to continue doing it, and EA didn't care.
Yeah.
But it is good news if you want another Force Unleashed or Star Wars 1313 to come back.
Oh, KOTOR
or
3.
KOTOR 3.
I think KOTOR 3 has probably been the most asked for in the last 6 or 7
What's the
years.
other one? The open world third person shooter from the original
Battlefront.
Battlefront.
Oh, yeah,
the new
Battlefront 3,
Battlefront.
yeah.
That,
Well, yeah, because they might release the one that was supposed to release this summer anyway. They might. I mean, that game's probably
Xbox
just done.
Live one?
Yeah, the Xbox Live one is just like it's done anyway, from what I had heard. So literally, they just put that out and hey, money, thanks.
It's essentially like Team Fortress, just Star Wars.
that could be cool.
Yeah. So why would the VP,
Order 66.
Why would the VP sell off his entire stock with all this stuff coming?
He could be scared about the transitional period. I mean, people could be taking what the Wii U is doing and maybe assuming that's an industry standard as opposed to a Nintendo misstep.
I have to say that you'd be the biggest idiot to think that.
Well, but they could be looking at the mobile market and seeing how much bigger the mobile market has grown, and be concerned about that.
I'm not
But
saying
EA
it makes
is in
sense.
the mobile market.
Oh, yeah.
EA's in there, so I don't know if that would
I'm
be
just
concerned
saying,
for
like, EA is projected to make gobs of money this year, and he sells off his entire stock. Like, I don't think his stock is going to go down before the end of this year.
Is it a it's far-fetched, but is it a possibility that he just did it because he has enough money?
Possibly.
Or could it be that he's planning on leaving and wants to
Yeah.
cash
Well,
out and go?
from what I
Yeah,
understand,
who
he
knows?
said he's staying.
Oh,
Said he's not
Yeah, he
going
said he-
anywhere. But maybe it's just like, hey, let's since we're making all these announcements, I've got these stuff. Let's go ahead and share them with everybody else.
Could
Maybe.
be.
It could be PR.
Okay. Yeah, that could be it.
Who knows?
Going on this, because I did mention Activision, we haven't got to it yet. Activision announced this week it has $0 in debt. It also mentioned it has $4.6 billion laying around.
Fuck those guys. Give some to us.
What would you do with it, Jason? What would you do with that money?
Buy a better microphone. We'd soundproof the studio.
Yeah. So you're
I'd
basically
go and buy that iMac that I want.
you're basically putting Activision up there with some of the absolute major console retailers or makers.
Or putting them up there with big companies in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
It's really not that surprising when you think about it logically, though.
Oh, yeah, no, it's-
Activision was the first they were the first third-party studio in the world.
Yeah, they were.
They were a group of 4 guys who used to work for Atari that felt that they should have been being paid more because they came up with all the great games on the Atari 2600. But the way the video game industry worked back then was when a game was developed for a console, it was the console manufacturer's property. So you just got paid your $10 an hour to make games. You didn't get paid depending on how much your game sold. And the 4 guys got together, started their own company, called it Activision, in rebellion of the way that Atari handled their third-party support, or excuse me, their own in-house
Yeah.
developers. So then Activision ended up, as soon as they broke off, ended up making all the good games from that era anyway, because the 4 most talented guys in the world broke off and created a studio. It was like a monopoly.
yeah.
And ever since then, they've just been putting gobs of money away. You're talking 30 years plus of...
Well, it's not the same guys now, though, is it? I mean,
No,
they've
of course
completely
not.
expanded.
I think there's only one
Yeah.
guy left from the original 4. One guy broke off and started a new studio, and it failed. One guy just got out of it, and another guy died, I think.
You read the back of Game Informer too?
No, I just know about this stuff.
It was like last month or the month before, like the history of Activision.
No.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's
I
news for
haven't-
the week. No! I didn't have a Letterman it. Yeah. We're on pause until I Letterman it.
Quick hands, Mark. Quick
It's
hands.
still on pause. No, it's gotta be down. Ha! David Letterman! I kicked over the bottle and it worked.
Okay, so that brings us to.
Oh, are we doing this now?
What are we doing?
Okay.
Where are we putting that in?
I don't know. We could do it right now. I had a slight fireside chat to bring up with all you folks. I know I kind of alluded to it a bit earlier in the news. A gentleman by the name of Ted Price, who runs Insomniac Games, the up until recently pretty much working for Sony only studio, who's created Resistance and
Fuse.
Ratchet and Clank, and most recently they're dabbling in their first multi-platform game in Fuse, has come out and released a big statement, but only 2 or 3 sentences focused on the Wii U. But that's the thing that blew up on the internet. It had nothing to do with the other 90% of what he said. It was just those 2 or 3 sentences about the Wii U. And he said that he felt that the Wii U was kind of current gen technology. That they have development kits laying around at Insomniac, and they really aren't going to do anything with them, which shouldn't be that threatening to Nintendo fans because they've never made anything for a Nintendo console anyway. So it's no big loss. But you have the guy coming out and basically calling the Wii U current gen, basically calling it on par with the PS3 and Xbox 360 as opposed to
He's not wrong.
as opposed to the Xbox and the PS4. Yeah. So what do you guys think?
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but he's not entirely. I mean, the Wii U is technically slightly more powerful, but it's stuck with older technologies. So
And
it's like
no
it's,
one
it's,
backing
it's,
it.
It's like a transitory thing. It's just like when people made jokes that the Wii was 2 GameCubes taped together. It's the same kind of a comment where it is, but it is. I mean, it is more powerful, but it's not gonna hold a candle to what's coming on the next 2 consoles. I mean, it's just not. That's true, but it's still more powerful than like an Ouya or a mobile device at this point. I mean, it's
The Nintendo faithful came out of the woodwork when this got announced, and if you go on any of the comment sections that are talking about this, it's just everybody hating on Insomniac for what this guy said, which I feel is a little undeserved because A, he's kind of right, and B, he really didn't mean it in a malicious way.
No, he's joining what the whole industry is saying about the Wii U.
If you read it in context with the sentences that come before it and the sentences that come after it, he didn't just come out to cause controversy and be like, "Oh, the Wii U is a piece of crap."
No, he did.
That guy was just talking about the industry, and they asked him about the Wii U, and he's like, "Yeah, we have." Because I think they were asking basically if Fuse was going to get ported over, if I'm not mistaken, and he's like, "No, we have a Wii U development kit, but we feel it's a little bit." Current gen or whatever, and they're just not going to bother with it because of the lower attach rate.
Anybody play that demo, by the way?
No.
Not yet.
I've seen it.
Is it good? No.
Yeah. Looks like Mass Effect multiplayer.
No.
That's.
I saw a trailer.
Angry Andy was playing it 2 nights ago, and that's literally.
So he'll love it.
Huh?
What do you think?
I didn't ask him
Because I know he loves Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Yeah, but it's literally. It looked like a more modern Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Yeah.
Instead of like the Tron backgrounds.
Yeah.
It was like war. So sorry.
Quite all right. So basically, a lot of the Nintendo faithful came out and, are just screaming at this guy about how he doesn't know what he's talking about. And of course the Wii U is next gen and it's super powerful and just wait and see. And how you can't even call next gen because they don't compete with PCs, which is a totally stupid argument.
I don't know, is it, Mark?
PCs don't.
We don't compete with you guys.
PCs don't have.
I squander at all you other people.
PCs don't have gens, though, like consoles do. We're talking about console gaming. PCs are, of
You're
course...
talking about yearly releases for PC.
Yeah, PCs are always ahead of the
Talking about
curve. That's
monthly
not the point. We're
releases.
talking about consoles, which do have generations, and they're clearly classified. And in that sense, the Wii U is technically part of the next generation of upcoming consoles, but hardware-wise, he's not wrong.
No,
that's what he was That's what he was referring
The Wii
to.
U is
if you
far
read the
behind.
If you're reading the article from start to finish, that is what he's referencing to. Is that it's this generation? It's like they can't really. They would have to make it on the Wii U and then downport it to the other consoles. And
Well, you mean upport like they did with the
Yeah,
original Xbox?
yeah,
They
yeah.
made the games for the PS2, and then they'd up the graphics for the Xbox.
yeah, like that. That's what they would have to do if they wanted to make it. But then you have to develop it on that console. And when this game was in
Right.
development, that console wasn't even released yet. So
Yeah. No, it's
And then you got a lot of people on there like, oh, who the fuck are these guys? They've never made a good game because they've never heard of Insomniac, and they don't
Because
know they
they
have
don't-
award-winning franchises that come out pretty.
because they don't know how to look up anything on the internet, apparently.
Yeah,
Insomniac
no one
is one of
does.
the most known developers out there.
They're
and
one of the best studios in the world too.
yeah, I don't know. Like
They make
people are
hit
idiots.
after hit after hit after hit. The Fuse, I think, is going to be their first.
Yeah, probably
Failure.
But you know, everyone has one.
Yeah, but whatever.
Troll's gonna troll.
Trolls be
true.
trolling.
Trolls gonna troll.
Like, oh my god.
I mean, the only thing I would say is that we haven't seen the PS4 or the next Xbox console yet, like actually seen it. So it's anything that you see now is all like, it's it's demos. It's what's the term?
tech demos.
Well, yeah, tech demos. But no, they're bull shots. They're artists' renditions of what we're gonna see.
Yeah, like
So are you
aliens.
talking about beauty renders?
Yeah, I mean,
what
yeah, I
we
mean,
call them.
yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Industry Insider.
I just throw this in there because she does that.
I hang out with
but-
Cliffy B
but I'm
and Rob
sure-
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Oh, well, every day. I mean, we were having tea this morning.
Yeah.
Teen
But
strumpets.
I'm sure they will outclass the Wii U in every way. I mean, just the memory footprint. I mean, like the Wii U, everyone's like, "Wow, 2 whole gigs," and then you find out that only 1 gig is available to the game. But then you see the PS4, 8 gigs. All right,
It's
that's the only spec we have to go off of so far, and
just-
even that just blows it out of the
I
water.
don't understand why they can't come to grips with what the Wii U is and just embrace
It's
it.
a Nintendo
Whatever,
console.
yeah.
The thing is, it's going to be identical to what the Wii was to the Xbox and 360.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very behind, but it's going to have very, very good first-party games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
You
nothing
should
wrong
embrace
with
that.
There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. Embrace it. That's what the Wii U is. Have fun.
You're
with
gonna have
it.
great, awesome Nintendo
Yeah, you're gonna have
titles.
great Marios. You're gonna have great Zeldas. You're gonna enjoy this thing for the next 6 or 7 years. Is it gonna look as pretty as the PS4 and the next Xbox? Of course not.
And
Is it
literally,
gonna have
if
a
you-
good online infrastructure? No.
And literally, if you've been buying Nintendo systems for right now, you're not going for the graphics.
No.
No,
You don't care
You
about the
never
graphics
have.
if you're buying Nintendo.
Nintendo
currently.
has been behind since the SNES.
Yeah.
Well, no, SNES was more powerful.
The Genesis was a better looking.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yes, way.
No way.
Oh, you cray.
Oh,
you cray.
This is a whole episode in and of itself.
Exactly. I don't want to get into that because I agree with Brian, but that's a whole nother
Oh,
discussion.
we could go over
when
that.
when we finally get everything together for the retro game cast,
oh my
that's
goodness.
when that'll come
Oh,
out.
you guys cray.
Yeah.
But either way, I completely agree with Tony with there. You're not playing it for, the
most
games
cutting-edge
anyway.
graphics.
You're
That's
playing
what-
it because it's a Nintendo console and you love Nintendo games.
And here's the thing,
And
you don't
shouldn't
need-
matter about any
Yeah.
other console.
You don't need cutting edge graphics to make a good game. I mean, it helps.
There's still amazing
They're
8-bit
great,
games
yeah.
that play better than some of the modern day
Hotline
games.
Miami. That was awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like Jason's been saying since we started this too. It's a great secondary system. That's what Nintendo products are. They're good to have alongside your choice from Microsoft or PS4, which is where you play your multiplayer games, you play your multi-platform
How it's
games,
always-
an
for
occasional
me-
exclusive, and you use your Nintendo for Nintendo-based games. It's not that big of a
It has
deal.
and like, okay, again, I know there's we kind of get pigeonholed as bashing Nintendo a lot.
No, that's
Okay.
probably me.
I'm the guy with the frickin' Legend of Zelda tattoo on my arm. Okay, Nintendo has not been my primary system since N64.
Me too, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's the honest to God truth.
I haven't. Here's my honest to God truth with Nintendo. I owe everything to them because without them, I wouldn't have started video gaming. But I have no such thing as brand loyalty. I am able to decipher every generation which one is the clear winner. I don't sit there and blindly follow one company so like just blindfolded and be like, that's automatically my go-to. It's not the case. If you look back, every generation had a different company make the superior system.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, but there's no rules saying you can't enjoy them all.
Exactly.
You won't be a traitor.
Well, no. Here's the thing. What it
I
is-
feel like, real quick, I just feel like Nintendo has left me behind. It forgot about the guys who made it popular in the 80s and 90s and is catering toward a younger demographic. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nintendo makes $1 gazillion every year. Who am I to tell them, a 100-year-old company, how to make money?
And I mean, also too, on the flip side though, we were just having the discussion how we're going to get 3DSs at some point.
I have my 3DS.
I don't think
Nobody cares about
I
you.
don't think they're the dominant company anymore. But they're still a great company that makes great games. There's only 3 of them left. There's no need for all this needless fighting.
Yeah.
It's like, just enjoy
Why
them
can't
all.
we be friends?
Enjoy them all.
I
love
think
my
it's
3DS.
okay. I think a lot of what it is, because it goes back to the schoolyard fight. It's that
like
you
it.
get one console when you're a kid, and you're stuck with it, and then you feel the need to justify it to people who don't agree with you. And as soon as you try to justify yourself to people who don't agree with you, all you've done is waste everybody's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's a good place to end the fireside. Jim,
Yes.
I think.
Fireside.
All right.
All right. Oh God. Is it time for?
I was going to do that. I was waiting for the silence, and then...
Oh, shit.
We good? We good?
I'm good right now.
Lysios.
What's up?
We haven't heard from him in forever. How have you been, good sir?
I made a mistake and I rectified that with him. He sends us messages. He doesn't actually post on the Facebook. I overlooked his message, so this is actually a week old. But I talked to him and we're cool with it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we apologize about that.
And I explained to him,
Jason's fault.
Fucking Jason.
No, look
It's
at
true.
Jason.
It's
I wasn't here last week,
It's
so I
better when
can't
he's
answer
dead,
it.
usually. Our casts are usually better. We get all the questions.
He
you know?
asked, what do you think about the resurgence of 80s cartoons in the past years? Thundercats, Transformers, etc. He also mentions X-Men, Spider-Man, Biker Mice. Wants to know if he missed any. So first off, what do we think about the resurgence of 80s cartoons? And then did he miss any? Because there's one big one that he missed. So we want to kick it off with, what do you think about the resurgence of 80s cartoons?
I love that they started doing, the cartoons I grew up watching, in the morning on Saturdays in like full on HD, like new Transformers movies. I mean, they look beautiful. I was like, oh my god, it used to be a nice 2D freaking image when I used to watch. I think most of them turn out quite great, actually. With the new Iron Man, actually, I thought that was awesome. I just saw that last weekend. So, I mean, I'm all for them. I think they do usually a pretty good job with most of them.
Brian, you got to be along the same lines with me. You are a kid from the 80s for as far as cartoons and everything.
Very much a child of the 80s,
Yes.
in that I grew up during them, from point zero to all the way till now.
Yeah.
I have kind of a cynical look at it because I feel like a lot of it's just trying to it's part of it's cashing in, part of it's not wanting to take any risks. I think it's okay. I mean, it's cool to bring back a good franchise. There's nothing wrong with a reimagining of a good franchise. It happens every so often with good ones to begin with. But I think a lot of it is just jumping in on the bandwagon. So
I think at this point for
Yeah.
Marvel, I can kind of see that as well, especially
Yeah.
since all their movies are, the top 3 or 4 of the list of, best movie openings at this
Yeah.
point.
All right.
But there's a reason behind that, too.
yeah.
There actually are good movies.
Yeah, they
Avengers
are.
and Iron Man 3 were
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
For me, being a child of the 80s and growing up on
So old.
Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters and all these great pieces of 80s
There's
animation.
new Ghostbusters coming, too. I forgot about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
When you go back,
I don't know how I
and-
feel about that.
Yeah, that one I was the same way with,
when
actually.
you go back and you attempt to watch them
They're
now,
not that great.
They're not. They don't hold up.
I bought when they re-released The Legend of Zelda on DVD. I was so excited,
Excuse me,
and I watched it, and I
princess.
wanted to go back in time and beat myself up for watching it.
It
was bad.
For me, the first one that I remember that they kind of brought back, and it's probably almost 10 years old now, was when they relaunched He-Man on Cartoon Network. It was all right. I was really hyped up about Thundercats when they announced that, and it was okay for the first few episodes. But that's probably part of it because it's not my cartoon anymore.
Right.
That's the reality of it. My cartoon was in the 80s. When he was running around with his little tight spandex and whatnot, and looking oh so gay like he did. Lionel looked extremely gay.
In the 80s wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Now, I know I'm kind of jumping ahead into part 2 of the question, but recently Nickelodeon acquired the rights of Ninja Turtles. Now, they did relaunch Ninja Turtles a couple years ago on Fox and everything. That one was okay, wasn't bad, but then they sent them in the future and it got weird. I've started watching the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles, and while it is kiddish in some of the content and everything, and like how the characters react, they use kind of an anime style to it. It's okay. I actually enjoy it.
Damn it, Disney for anime.
It's actually pretty cool.
Well, Nickelodeon seems to be doing okay with some of these kid shows. They had that, what was that, Avatar series that they've done that are pretty good, actually. And,
Actually,
Yeah,
it's
and
surprisingly watchable.
This one, it's on Hulu. If you have it, take a few minutes, watch a couple episodes. It's actually not bad.
Okay.
It's not, and it actually has got Sean Astin doing the voice of Raphael, and then I might be wrong, but I believe it's Lost Boys, the guy who
Corey
did
Feldman?
Corey Feldman doing Donatello again. I think.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, that for me. Some of them are okay. They obviously can't follow, because a lot of the 80s cartoons didn't really have a continuity. They didn't have...
Wait, I'm sorry, did you not follow the continuity of Silverhawks? Did you not understand?
Really? Like,
I can't even remember that. I remember there was a show called Silverhawks. I think there was Dino Saucers. And
Yeah.
I can think of them, but like they had...
early
yeah.
90s, not 80s, but early 90s. Anybody remember Denver the Last Dinosaur?
Oh, yeah, my sister loved that show.
Denver, the last dinosaur.
I don't think I know that one.
He's my friend
and
and
a whole lot
Yeah,
more.
and that was creepy when you think
Denver.
about it. He's my friend and so much more.
I don't remember
Are
the
you
whole-
fucking the dinosaur?
Yeah.
And he used to wear the Hawaiian shirt.
He did. Well, he was a party guy. And he had the shades and the guitar.
Look that shit up on YouTube later.
I think I remember
It's
seeing a
awful. It's
dinosaur
fucking
in
awful.
a Hawaiian
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, it's awful.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna expand this a bit into. I think it's part of just how the human psyche works. When you take into account all of human history with media, whether it be comics, games, TV, video games, it's this
Porn.
thing where stuff needs to be rebooted. I'll use Star Wars as an example. Okay, you got people in our age bracket who grew up, and Star Wars is 4, 5, 6. That's what we know as Star Wars. That's what we hold near and dear to our hearts. Most of us were young when that first came out. CGI was in its infancy, so we were all blown away with what those movies did. You grow up a little. We all got super excited about the re-releases of 1, 2, and 3. And they weren't very good. But I don't know if it's because they weren't very good or if it's because we were expecting more 4, 5, and 6. Because if you talk to the generations that were born, younger than us, the ones that grew up or were 4 or 5 years old when episode 1 came out.
Episode 3 sucked.
The 3 in succession, that they can't stand looking back at 4, 5, and 6. They're like, it's so old, it's so garbagey. You could tell the guys are in costumes, so on and so forth. And they love 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know if it's... This kind of relates into what you guys were saying, too, with the 80s cartoons. I don't know if it's necessarily that they were better back then, or if it's
They weren't.
just what we grew up on and we can't stand the reboot. But the problem is, in all of these media forms, you have to keep remaking stuff because you're able to. Every 5 or 6 years, you have a new generation growing up that can start consuming your stuff because they're not going to go back in time and check out the stuff from the 80s and 90s until they get
With
a
the
little
exception
older.
of a few extreme classics like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, things
Yeah.
like that. Those kind of still hold
But like
up.
Ninja
You're
Turtles
talking
and
about
stuff.
the movies, not the
Yes,
cartoons.
yes.
I'm trying to bring it back to cartoons now. You're not going to have the kids that are growing up nowadays in the age of SpongeBob and so on and so forth go back and start paying attention to He-Man and Turtles. But if you re-release them, you're opening it up to a whole new market with toys and merchandise and lunchboxes and T-shirts. So what all these industries do, whether it be comics, video games, TV, movies, they're going to rehash stuff for the next generation. And the previous generations will always look down and frown upon what comes out next.
Because they did it first.
Yes,
They
Even
saw
us,
masters.
even us, we grew up watching the Al Pacino Scarface, which is actually being remade right now.
Never seen
And
Scarface.
Don't waste your... Oh, sorry.
And in
I'm
and
not
of
even
it, I think
going
it's one of the
around.
greatest movies of all time.
Well, it's 'cause you're Italian.
In and of itself, it's about
He's
what is it,
Cuban.
Puerto Rican or
Puerto
Cuban.
Rican.
Yeah, but it's that
right?
whole
Yeah.
that's that whole gangster shit.
But then you go back. That's actually a remake in itself of an old 40s or 50s movies based on the real Scarface who was in Chicago. So, I mean, even the one that I grew up watching, I didn't know about the old one because I grew up watching the Al Pacino one. And now they're remaking it, and everybody's fist up in arms about this upcoming movie, and it makes no sense because this is just the third remake, and it's for a new generation.
I think the one exception to that, and I may be wrong, but it's for me, is the more current Batmans trump the 90s Batmans.
But see, before those came out, we didn't know any better. I was pleasant when I was a kid. Because the first one came out in '89. I was like 4 or 5 years old. I loved that movie.
Yeah, I did too.
I loved all of them.
And then I understood that it was completely wrong.
Then I grew up and I wasn't 8 or 9 years old anymore. Even the third and fourth one, which are atrocious movies, I enjoyed when I was a kid because you just sucked in media and you liked it. You didn't know any better.
You didn't have that bar.
Yeah.
Where you had those expectations.
And now I grow up and I look back, and the first one is tolerable, as is the second one with Catwoman and the Penguin with Danny DeVito. But aside from that, those are terrible, terrible fucking movies, especially held up to today's Batmans, which are far better. It's the same way, like, I'm not as big of a Batman fan as Jason is, but I can't go back and watch the old Adam West stuff.
Oh, I can. It's fucking...
Okay, but that's because
the old man watches it. I'll sit there with him sometimes.
But that's because you're a Batman super fan.
No, it's because that's fucking cheesy.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. The average person that was growing up in the 80s and 90s can't go back to that because in the 60s it was the shit.
Oh yeah.
But in the 80s and 90s it was just shit. And that's what I'm getting at. It's this whole human... I don't know. I think I'm getting too...
Well, another as far as...
Too nuts with it all.
As far as cartoon example, again, it's not from the 80s, but it is a cartoon that I grew up watching, was Batman the Animated Series. And the reason I bring it up because we were talking about this just the other day when you were asking me, where do I start with the series?
From the beginning, obviously.
Well, on Netflix, they don't have Batman the Animated Series.
Really?
But they have Batman Beyond, Justice League, Brave and the Bold, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Year one.
Yeah,
those are movies?
Yeah, I saw it.
They
I watched some shit.
Was it Mask of the Phantasm? No, really.
No. I believe they have Return of the Joker though. But anyways, he asked me where should I start. Now, I've seen the animated series. I've seen Beyond. I've seen Justice League. I've seen Justice League Unlimited. So I jumped into Brave and the Bold. And again, that's not my Batman cartoon, but I can kind of appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, it's more Adam Westy, isn't it? More cheesy.
It is, and it's voiced by the guy from fucking Drew Carey show.
Drew Carey?
No, with the black hair. The
Diedrich Bader?
There you go.
Yeah.
He's Batman.
I
Diedrich Bader.
got one thing I wanted to tail end of mine before we moved on, going back to the Star Wars thing, because this was the whole thing that made me bring up Star Wars, and I forgot to mention it. Okay, like, you have your, what's that idiot's name? Jabba the Hutt? No, not Jar
Jar Binks?
Jar Jar Binks. You have Jar Jar Binks or,
I didn't mind him as much as most.
What's the new, Jango Fett?
Oh, there's Jango Fett? Yeah.
The one that
father of
Boba
Boba
Fett
Fett.
got cloned off of.
Yeah,
Jango Fett.
Okay, you got those two, and you talk to kids that grew up with those three being their primary Star Wars 1, 2, and 3, the prequel trilogy.
Why are you talking to kids, Tony?
Because I'm a pedophile, and no, I'm kidding.
The views expressed by Tony are not the opinions of Ford Compatible
I
Podcast.
threw him off.
So you talk to kids, and they grow up with those, and they think they're cool characters. They want to buy their toys and have them on their T-shirts, and we look down at those and we frown upon them as ruining the Star Wars saga. And then they're clearly remakes of what we had back in the day in R2-D2 and C-3PO that sold all that stuff, and they were the cool, goofy go-to characters in the Star Wars universe. And then you look back at it logically, and were those two really any better? It was that same zany, but it was for a different generation.
To be fair, nobody likes fucking Jar Jar Binks except MC Chris.
Well, but I don't know. Did people rag on Ewoks when they first appeared?
Oh yeah.
I remember. Did they?
Oh yeah. Okay. People fucking hate those bears. Like, how did the fucking Empire fall to some fucking teddy bears?
Yeah, it's kind of
true. The Ewok Jar Jar Binks is more of a comparable there. The people, yeah.
But they're so much cuter.
And the one says Chocha. He points at Princess Leia and says Chocha. It's true. All right. Next question. Brendan Joyce.
What's up, B?
Can we do a Star Wars blacklist one of these days?
Brendan Joyce.
I got more to say.
Brendan Joyce.
What's up, B?
So where are all the white women at?
I love that
guy. You did this once before. I don't know. Was that one of the Lost Cast episodes? I can't remember.
He sends it every once in a while.
Yeah, I know, because this came in when it was at your
or we get, why is Tony so gay?
Yeah, we get those two.
Yeah. So moving on. The white women are in Tony's pants. That's where
true.
they're at.
I think that's where they were last time.
Metro Android.
What's up?
Should feed them sometimes.
He said specifically, what do you think Nintendo is doing on right with their online service?
I don't think they tried very hard to make it like a perfect system, but in my opinion, the thing that they did right was that message board. What's the actual name of it?
Is it the Wara Wara Plazas or
The
something
Twitter
else?
the Twitter ripoff.
Well, it's not really Twitter. It's more of a message board than
It's
Twitter.
like it's like the message board thing where you post on like here I am, that kind of thing. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if I'd ever used it, but I mean it is a lot quicker than going on to like Wikipedia and finding out the exact part you're at. I like the way they worked it where it'll find where you're at and it'll post like messages from people who were in the same situation, so you might get some
I like that it like in a game like Mario where it'll show it kind of piggybacking up where it shows you where your friends are in the game compared to you.
When it shows what other people are doing, you can throw hints. It'll put spoiler tags, so you won't get spoilers if you're careful. And you get some really interesting art in there too, which is the other cool thing.
There's a lot of really cool Wii U art that people do.
But
draw
that's
on the little message things.
But that's really the only thing they've done right.
Yeah.
Everything else. I mean, I don't play my Wii online. I don't have any games that would play online. I don't think I have just a Mario and
You weren't one of the 20 people with Madden?
no,
It's 45.
no, or Call of Duty. But the online thing. The one thing they're doing right is they're doing the message boards. I haven't gotten a single friend request. Not that I'm complaining. I don't really care.
No
But-
friends.
Throw it out. You'll get some.
Well, I'm Superberg, but
You might get a couple from the show.
Oh,
we got a few on Xbox.
SUPERBERG. I'm just wondering how it works. I've never gotten one. I don't know what it entails to get one.
It's got like 60 of these.
Andrew Dillon, I know you have a Wii U out there. Go ahead, send Brian a friend invite.
Because
Make them happy.
Because on the Wii and the 3DS, it's a bit of a hassle to get that
With the
thing
friend
going.
codes and all that crap,
all that. Yeah. So I just whatever. I'm not even going to deal with it. But if it's easier, I've heard it's easier this time around, and I can't speak to it because I've never done it.
I think the only game that I've ever played for Nintendo Online was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart was fun.
Well, yeah.
I
Well,
actually
I
played
played
that
Smash
online
Brothers
as well.
online with Jay one time, but there's no chat
Jake
on the
cheats.
Don't even get me started on Jay cheating.
Okay, fucking
I play
Kirby.
Words with Friends with Jay.
That's
Don't
all
get
he
me
played
started on
is
Jay
Kirby.
cheating.
Okay, I was 141 undefeated in Smash Brothers
Until Jay.
because he picked fucking Kirby and he beat me by 1.
You should come play poker with us so you can beat Jay at poker.
I don't play poker. Now Kim plays poker. Yeah,
Just gonna hustle.
I'll just
But
go there
yeah,
and talk
but-
shit to him the whole time.
He gets pretty crazy when he plays. But the Wii had no voice chat.
Big surprise.
So we're on the phone, like holding our phones to our ears, trying to play Smash Brothers. It was pretty. It's pretty
just
goofy.
shit talking each other while
Yeah.
playing online. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's funny, yeah.
But so,
Here it goes.
I don't think Nintendo's done very much well when it comes to their online infrastructure. The store is a mess. They slowly trickle out even their own properties, which would give people that own a Wii U something to play if they actually just ported over the entire. The problem is Wii U Nintendo's own tech doesn't talk to its own tech. It's like in this day and age, everything should be pretty universal. Where like Samsung stuff is great with it, Apple stuff is great with it, Sony stuff, Microsoft.
Oh my God, you gave Apple a compliment.
Apple stuff, that's one thing that they do very, very
It does
well.
connect
All of
pretty well.
Apple's stuff talks to other Apple products very, very well. It's a standard. It's like Netflix nowadays. It's not a selling point. You can't go, with Netflix, everything is fucking Netflix.
If it doesn't have Netflix, it's weird.
Every Samsung product talks to every Samsung
My underwear
product.
has Netflix.
So does Sony's and Microsoft and
Must have cost
Apple's.
you a little pretty penny.
It's standard assumed practices nowadays. It's not a selling point anymore. And Nintendo shit still doesn't talk to other Nintendo shit. With like Wii purchases on
Yes.
whatchamacallit, the eShop store, you should automatically get all of that stuff on your Wii U. But first of all, they don't do that. But even the stuff that used to be available on the Wii isn't even available on the Wii U yet. The 3DS had a really hard time talking to the Nintendo Wii, and I think it's still not fully figured out with the Wii U. But that I have
not even tried it.
I can't speak on behalf of because I haven't tried that personally. I'm just going off of what I've heard. There's no standard voice chat system. There's nothing connects. There's no true Nintendo base that keeps you as a person with what you've purchased, with what you've accomplished, and it all unifies it into one, I don't know, direct
They don't even do achievements. Like, games can have achievements, but it's done within the game, not on a universal console.
The thing with me
list.
is the Wii was excusable because that came out at a time when
It wasn't even invented
you weren't sure if online gaming was going to take off in the console world. It was pretty clear that Xbox, that came out a year and a half before the Wii, was working really, really well, but you can excuse it. But with the Wii U, it's like, come on, you guys have had a decade to work this shit out, and the Nintendo Network's still a fucking mess, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think PlayStation Network is very close, is closing the gap between that itself and Xbox Live, Xbox Live is still the gold standard, and Nintendo Network is miles behind, in my opinion.
Streets behind.
No.
I don't know. I don't think that. I really don't think.
To bring the mood down.
I really don't think.
No,
I'm just my opinion. I don't
yeah.
think. I don't think they've done much well with their online infrastructure.
Wow.
Yeah, no, the message board is a really cool feature that no one else has, but they're lacking a lot of the things that everyone else has.
It should just be basic assumed stuff.
That
Stuff
sounds
that's like, how do you not do this? How does
That-
it not include this?
That sounds you can blame that a lot. It sounds like on the hardware engineers behind it, because literally that is stuff that
It sounds
they
like it's
would-
just a firmware update away from
that's
becoming
what I mean.
possible, but
Yeah.
they're not even
Well, yeah,
talking
they're
about it.
reserving a gig worth of memory in the system for the
Updates and
the
stuff.
OS. You would think that a gig of RAM would be enough to do whatever you possibly need to do for cross-game chat, for in-game
it should
messaging.
be because Xbox and PlayStation do
use
it
like 100
on-
megs at the most.
Yeah,
they use like
way
nothing
less.
compared to I mean they use nothing. Whereas Nintendo reserved they have 2 gigs of RAM.
Sounds
in
like
the
bad
system.
hardware engineering to me.
They could.
Yeah, it
I
does
think
seem
they
that
could
way.
fix it all with some firmware updates, but it doesn't sound like Nintendo cares. They
I don't
just
think
they
they-
don't
I don't
want
think
to
They want their
include-
mobile games.
Yeah.
They don't want to include any of this
Yeah,
stuff,
I-
which
yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me.
It's unfortunate because Nintendo still makes some of my favorite games, but their hardware.
Love Pikmin.
I can't wait for Pikmin.
And you know,
Absolutely.
going back in the history, I may be wrong, but they were one of the first pioneers of connectivity in regards to like when you could hook up 2 Game Boys together. Granted, you were tethered by a cable, but like especially
you
even
can't.
like
And
Pokemon.
in Japan, the NES hooked up to a satellite and
Yeah.
downloaded games.
Yeah.
On the
Well,
the hell?
Game Gears
and
used to do it,
SNES as
too.
well.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Well,
like,
but Game Boy was the first one.
Yeah, but
to-
yeah,
I don't remember which one was first.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, like, I even remember, like, with Pokemon, being able to trade Pokemon
Yeah.
amongst one of the. You know,
Well, and Nintendo's good at that social stuff. When you have the 3DS, it's got all the little connectivity features where you're walking around and you see people.
Oh, I love
it's
that.
it's
Yeah, the
great.
walking into people, that's
I
awesome.
can't do it at work because I work with kids and it would look weird. But for other people, I'm sure it's really cool. Yeah, accept my friend request on all your 3DSs, guys. Yeah, absolutely. No.
Well, you don't have to accept a friend request. You just need them for
Brian
puzzle
just
pieces.
Brian just outed that he plays 3DS at work.
No, I do not. Absolutely. I don't bring it to work.
You just need the puzzle pieces. That's all you were.
Well, I just buy them.
You just buy them.
I just buy them. But so they've got it down on the social aspect of like one-to-one social stuff. But when you get into world social stuff or online internet social stuff,
Yeah.
they just fail completely. They fall apart, and that's where everything has moved to. Nobody wants. I mean, people still want to play with their friends down the street, but they don't want to have to go to their friend's house. They just want to get online and do it.
Yeah.
The main problem
lazy here in America.
The main problem with its infrastructure is it was designed very similar to when the PSN first came out, which was a disaster because Sony thought it would be a great idea to allow each individual developer to do what they would like, which is why you don't have cross-game chat. Everything's not universal. Whereas Microsoft established a marquee, this is how it has to work. This is what every game has to do so it functions properly on the 360. Now Sony's learned their lesson, and the Vita does all of it very well, and the PS4 is going to carry on that tradition of mimicking what the Microsoft side of things has done. And what Nintendo has done is the exact same mistakes that Sony made 7 years ago with the PS3's initial design, where they left it up to independent developers to do what they would like. They don't require you to have headset support in their games. They don't require you to have chat options. None of that stuff. It's just a free-for-all. So what you're going to basically have over the life cycle, the Wii U is a big mess, just like the PS3 has, where some stuff doesn't work, some stuff does, and then you just look back and you're like, why? And your head explodes. It's like, this is simple stuff.
And it's a lot of things that are going to cause problems on older games. I don't know if anyone else has played Fallout 3 on
I
the
did.
PS3.
Not on PS3 though.
I
Every
started
other
on PS3 and moved to Xbox because on the PS3 version there were these awful bugs. It came out around the time that they were transitioning from not having like the in-game XMB to adding the in-game XMB, and Fallout 3 would literally stop whenever a notification came up. The whole game would just pause. It wouldn't freeze. It would pause until the notification went away. So every notification, imagine if every time you played a game on the Xbox and you got a notification, the game froze until the notification went away.
That would be a long time, especially with how many friends you got that just logging on and off all the time.
Yeah, especially you gotta imagine on off. It would constantly stall the game up. And so you might wind up seeing that kind of issue on the Wii U if Nintendo starts to move toward a more standardized platform.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. This question comes from Masses.
What's up,
Hold on,
Moss?
sir.
It's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
The biggest deal.
He said, what is the most disappointing video game that
Brink.
you've played?
Hey, it's Brink.
Let me finish this.
Brink.
A game where you were really hyped for it and
Brink.
it turned out to be absolute
There's Brink.
crap.
Do you remember Brink? Because I do. Brink. It's Brink.
Okay. Tony?
B-R-I-N-K.
come back to me.
I've got one. And it's the game that made me lose faith in Silicon Knights. Not too human.
Oh, I got it.
X-Men Destiny.
Yeah, that's right. I heard
That game
right?
is awful. Absolutely terrible.
I have mine.
Is it Brink?
It's Fable 3.
It's not Brink.
It's not Brink. I never dabbled in that because it looked like it was going to suck from the beginning.
You shut up, you.
You shut your whore mouth. No, Fable 3 killed the franchise for me, and they've done little to regain my confidence in it.
Fable the Journey didn't do that for
No,
you?
those are the things that just further stomped it into the ground.
Yeah.
Fable 1 was amazing. Even the what was it called? The
Lost Chapters.
Yeah, the Lost Chapters, and then 2 blew my mind, and then 3 came out, and it was just like, God, what a piece of fucking garbage. And then Peter Malamalu left Lionhead, so you're pretty much losing all the creative direction that
That guy was a
studio-
liar anyways.
He lost all the you
he's
lost all of your
exaggerated.
creative talent. So I mean, I don't see. I'm assuming Fable 4 is coming our way via the next box, but and I'll play it. I'll give it a chance, but I'm
Possibly an MMO.
very, very.
Awful idea.
I don't think it's gonna ever get back to its glory days.
I have a quick pun. I don't know if it's necessarily a pun, but it's a little joke on Peter Molyneux. Just came to me. Wanted to share it. His business card should read Chief Hyperbolist. Because he always comes out and says, when you get this game, it's going to change your life. This game's going to react to your mood. It's going to know when you go to the bathroom.
What happened to that little kid?
Milo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Why didn't we get to play with that kid?
Well,
Tony would've loved it.
would have loved it.
But yeah,
And ask him, well, what do you think about
he's
Star Wars?
Chief Hyperbolist because he makes things, and he's got these. Look, they're big ideas and they're really cool, but they never quite come to pass like you think they will.
Sweet. You ready for it?
Brink!
No, mine.
Okay.
Is it?
Oh, no. I found something better than to rant on Skyward Sword.
Okay.
And it's a reoccurring rant of mine.
Resident Evil 6.
Resident Evil 6.
It's not Brink.
I was so excited for that game. I went to bat for that game against these guys for months on this podcast. And it came out, and I played it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, fuck you, Resident Evil! You suck!
Hey, I got Revelations in my car.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me play it.
Doesn't come off for 2
Sell it
weeks.
to you
Let me
for
play it.
$50.
I'll sell it to you for $40.
Why don't you just let me borrow it, and then I'll get you your full money back when I'm done with it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I can do that.
You might
can
want to unplug
I do
your
it all the
console
time.
when you play.
I'm just saying, I can do that.
Yes.
I mean,
Because what we could do is, we'll do this off
there's
air.
a reason
Yeah.
that I call my other podcast the Blacklist, okay? So, but no, Resident Evil would have to be my choice. That game sucked balls.
I enjoyed it greatly.
Yeah,
I don't know
well-
what you're talking about.
This is also coming from the guy who rented Transformers, the game.
This is coming from the guy who spent $50 on that piece of shit Walking Dead game.
This is the guy who spent
and-
$12
and
on
wait,
the game that comes out in 2
Spent
weeks.
$50 on that piece for one. All store credit, baby. Okay, all store credit.
Still.
For two, how much did I get back for it?
Probably the full amount.
Yeah.
Didn't I return that for you?
Are you using the same connection that I use?
Of course.
He just came into me and I just returned it as new. Shrink wrap off and everything. I'm just like, yeah,
Just like, well.
returned as new.
Yeah, he got his power up for the day. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Our 8-bit song of the week was Super Mario World. Ryan Bond got that.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Is your brother named James.
Womp womp.
I guess we end early off.
As always, you can now visit us at forwardcompatible.org, where we've got a photo gallery, we've got the latest episodes of the podcast, we've got the Fireside chat section where you can leave comments if you don't agree with us and our topics and whatnot.
You know what I'd like to add is a suggested, to the website, a suggested, maybe not topic or topics of the week or Fireside chat.
could do
Something
that.
they
Right
want
in-
to talk.
right-
They want us to talk
right
about.
in the Fireside
You,
chat.
you
they
could
can leave
start. You
comments.
could start a forum. You know,
Yeah.
was that is Fireside Chat a forum? Or?
It's a blog post.
No, you can actually do a forum on there. I think.
Can I?
I know the old versions of Squarespace had it.
Okay, we'll look into
at
it.
that. Yeah.
You can like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/forwardcompatible podcast. If you go there right now and you like our page, you get entered in to win a copy of Hyrule Historia. I don't know if that's still going to be active by the time this airs, but we always partner up with Zelda Dungeon and Press Start to Play and all these other sites for their free giveaways. You can follow us on Twitter, which is at FCompatible. Cannot change it because FWD compatible is taken. Bitches.
Dicks.
Yeah. I might have to apply for a petition on Twitter to get that.
Yeah, try it.
You can like, comment, and share us on YouTube, youtube.com/forwardcompatible. We are available on iTunes and Stitcher. Please give us some feedback on those.
And I'm looking into Google Play.
Whatever.
Yeah, turn down half of the OS in the world.
No, it's okay. That's just tell me what you need me to look into, because I'm looking into Podcast One and SoundCloud and all these other ones too.
Google Play doesn't have
Don't
its
do
own.
SoundCloud, I
It's
already
mostly
did.
syndicated through like
Don't do
Dogcatcher
SoundCloud.
and stuff like that. Right? There's no official.
Podbean
I just gotta
and
see
shit
what
like that.
Right, yeah, there's no official Google
Build the
podcast app
feed
because they
in.
killed it, right? Listen was killed.
I don't know. That's why I'm looking into
Okay,
it. I have no idea.
And as always, you can email us at forwardcompatiblepodcast at
Gmail!
I believe it's email.
No, it's Gmail.
Oh, it is? Did we change it? Was this some miraculous 21st century
Man,
technology here?
whoever has email.com has got to be raking it in.
And I totally forgot, and I will get the PSN ID to you guys next week. I didn't do it. I forgot. Yeah, I totally spaced on it till now. So I will have that PlayStation Network ID for us next week. Are we working on an Xbox one as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So we should have some Xbox shit in the coming weeks, too.
Yeah.
Aside from that, this has been episode 66, part 1. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week, same time, same place.
I don't have anything to say this time. Why are you waiting? Go away!
Jesus.